All right, today we're here at the Relentless podcast. I have a very special guest, a guy I know for a long time, very respectable in the area, building a beautiful business book up of clients that basically refer everyone to him. Mike DeSanto, thank you for coming on today.
Yep, Sam. Thank you for having me.
So describe where you work, what you do, and what you like to do.
Well, currently I work with Cross Country Mortgage. I'm a branch manager. We have a branch in Blackwood, New Jersey, Washington Township area. We have a team of about 8 people at this point. Just building a book of business with local real estate agents. Most people in the area know who we are. We're one of the larger branches in the area. Pretty much that's what we do.
Yeah. So you live locally. You've lived locally for a long time, as long as I've known you. So you know the area, you know the market, you know the trends, all that. Yep. What led you on the journey into doing mortgages with Cross Country?
It's funny, actually. I have a friend of mine, a mutual friend, been in the mortgage industry for over 20 years. I was a network engineer for 20 years before I started doing this. We were just sitting in the backyard at a party, listening to what they're talking about. I've always been intrigued by numbers. And he just mentioned jokingly, why don't you go get your mortgage license? So I just went and got my license. Before you know it, I was working with him for a little while. And then that's what got me here. It just balanced out. I had a network career. It was great. I was making good money, what I thought at the time was great money. As soon as I did both at the same time, I worked from home, so I had the ability to do that. Once they started balancing out, my mortgage career was getting close to my other career. I knew it was time to leave and what the mortgage industry could do for me if I did it full time.
So that's super important for entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. Knowing when it is time to take your regular 9-to-5 job and go, hey, I'm going to make the jump.
Very difficult. It was extremely difficult. Explain that one to your wife.
Yeah, because it's stable. You know you have a check coming in. With mortgages, it's the total opposite.
Exactly.
So, but someone like yourself, I see at the gym and all that stuff, you're very motivated, very well-rounded as well. You'll be able to basically build up what you have and make a lot more money if you take that chance. If you decide to take that jump, and you did.
Yep.
So,
worth it.
Cross Country, I know they're a great company. I go to their party every year. It's probably the best party at Triple Play, and it's coming up
big one.
December 10th. Right?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of sets Cross Country apart, as a company and as a culture, rather than some of these other companies that we see out there?
Cross Country has a lot of employees, a lot of branches. Right now, we're the #1 retail lender in the country. I mean, you could look that up. It's everywhere. But I think the robust amount of products that we have products that people would never imagine we have. Bank statement loans. I'm actually buying another property myself right now, and it's based off of the income from the property I'm buying, which is a DSCR loan. So I have no income documents whatsoever. It's based on the mortgage payment versus what the rental income of the new property is. That's it. I show assets that I have money to put down. That's my income, and we're done. People don't know these products exist, and we have them in-house. We don't broker them out. ITIN loans, people without a social security number. I mean, the product list goes on and on.
That's great. So let's just go into that. DSCR. What do I need to do if I'm brand new in it? Can I get a DSCR, or is that someone more advanced?
DSCR, well, there's 2 ways. One, you have a rental history. You have to have 1 year rental history. If you have that, you're good. The ratio, as I mentioned, your mortgage versus the rental income has to be 1-to-1. That's a DSCR score of 1. If I bought a house and a duplex and my mortgage payment's $2,000 and my rental income is $4,000, my DSCR score would be 2.
Wow, because it's double the amount.
It's exactly so. It's a 2. So that's the qualification purposes. You do need credit. Although we don't look at the debts on your credit, you do have to have a credit score of at least 640.
Okay,
to get that.
That's
but
easy,
I mean, and then you need the money to put down, and that's up to you. You can put down as low as 20%. What I found, when you put 25% down, the rate's much better, and 30 is even better.
Got it.
So you need the money. You need okay credit. I'll say okay credit. You only need a 640. That's not anything extravagant. and you need that score. And you wouldn't buy the property anyway if you weren't going to get your money back for your mortgage payment.
That's right. So this is kind of geared towards like buying a property and rental.
Exactly.
For that rental
Yes,
portfolio.
yeah, you would use it
That's
for
great.
investment.
That's great. So that's a lot better than using a hard money loan because those interest rates will be a lot more. Is that right?
Yeah. I think the one I'm actually doing it myself right now. And I think it's 7.5.
That's
is what I'm gonna
phenomenal.
pay, which is
For a rental
not
property, that's
far
great.
off of a normal rate at this time.
Yeah, my first property I bought for myself to actually live in, and that was when I was 19. That was 7.5. And I was living in it. And you're saying a rental property now is 7.5. That's great, especially in today's day and age.
It's unbelievable.
So I guess the mortgage rate's a little bit better. So currently, what kind of trends are you seeing going on in the mortgage industry?
Right now, there's a lot of fear. I mean, it's been going on for a long time. People are saying rates are high. I'm not going to sell my house. I'm going to get stuck in this rate. What am I going to do? But they have their fear geared in the wrong direction. I mean, everyone... I have several clients that have been waiting 2 years. I mean, the rates were 3%. Oh, my friend got 2.75%. But what they don't understand is that's not the normal.
That's right.
The national average over the last 30 years is 7%. And that was skewed because of COVID, brought it down into twos. If that period didn't happen, we would probably be at 8 would be the national average.
That's
so
right.
There's people fear. They don't want to leave their house. I'm not going to sell my house at 3% and buy a new one at 7. It doesn't make sense. But the right answer is to buy now and refinance later.
Correct.
I mean, home prices went up over the last 2 years 15%. So anyone waiting, they now have to pay 15% more for a house that they could have bought 2 years ago for 15% less. And when the rates drop, they refinance and are in the same position. The only difference is I'm 15% better priced with the same rate that you got today.
Correct. Correct.
So it doesn't
Oh yeah, and that's the other thing. I mean, if the houses keep going up and the mortgage rates keep going up, you have a bigger problem.
Exactly.
So jump in. Worst case scenario, you get stuck with the rate you're on. Best case scenario, it does go down. You're able to do that. People forget that part of it.
Exactly.
They really do. They think, oh my God, I'm locked into 7. Well, guess what? If it goes down to 5, refinance.
And no money out of pocket.
Exactly.
When you refinance, you don't put a penny out of your pocket.
That's right. That's right. So it's almost like knowing that you lock in now, you're good now. It can only be better, right?
Exactly.
It can't be worse. They're not going to give you 7 and go 2 years ago. Hey, it's now 9.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That they don't do. Well, they do it as a balloon, but that would be for a totally different type of house. But
if
yeah,
you could afford it now, it's the time to get it.
absolutely.
Period.
I agree 150%. And then what kind of advice would you give to your new home buyers? What do you kind of do to your new home buyers to kind of walk them through that process?
I try to, and this is kind of lifelong. It's a little bit more than new first-time home buyers. It's like in life, a lot of people, I mean, schools, we were talking about the other day, they don't teach kids about credit.
No, they really don't.
You know, I mean, unless you take a business class in college, so they're unaware. You know, my daughter does the same thing. You go to this school, I'm leaving, going to this school. Well, you have to pay that school. You're going to have destroyed credit. Everyone has that family member that's been renting for 20 years because their credit's messed up and they can't buy a house. So I try to educate people in different things, maybe a class, I stand in front of people of how important credit is. Funds, I always direct them to credit. You can get your credit report for free. Everyone knows Credit Karma is one. The score is not so much accurate, but the debts are.
Sure.
You know, don't max out your credit cards. It destroys credit. I mean, if you have a $2,000 credit limit and you owe $19.95, it destroys your credit.
Definitely.
So I walked them through that. I walked them through income. I mean, you know, how stable is your income? Some people look for the highest they could afford and the highest they could buy,
Right.
that they'll be approved for instead of what they can actually afford. So I try to educate people on their finances.
Oh yeah.
You know, savings is another big deal. I mean, how many people, I see it every day, have no money saved. You know, I want to buy a $300,000 house, but I got $1,500 in the bank. We'll get into it. There are ways to do it, but you have to be pristine to make that happen.
Oh yeah.
So
say, I might not right now be ready to buy a house, but maybe in a year or 2 years I want to buy a house. Would it be okay to call you?
Absolutely.
You think that'd be good? This way you kind of tell me?
I want that call.
Okay. You're okay with that?
I'd rather have that
Okay.
call. We do things for people. We do a soft pull. When we run someone's credit, not everyone knows, but they're afraid, oh, don't pull my credit. It affects my score. It might only be 6 or 7 points, but we do a soft pull. It doesn't affect it all. And if I run your credit and say, Sam, you're close, you're not right there, you need about 80 more points. We run another report that we buy.
Sure.
It's no cost to you, and it tells us exactly what to do. Well, Sam, you owe $16.95 to Capital One. Lower that balance to $7.95. You know, and pay this one down to $10, and this collection is new, so pay it off. It's $150, and that'll get you up to a 730.
That's amazing.
So we walk them through that, and of course I always mention save, 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 save.
Sure. Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, you could coach them through on getting that credit right, but they at the back end they need to have some kind of money put down. But you just said there's other things you'll be able to do to move her around to try and overcome some of those obstacles with that money down. That's good. That's good. Now, what kind of technology do they have now as far as, when you interact with clients? Are you doing something more over the phone, or is it like an app? What do you kind of do now?
A lot of it now, I mean, look, I would spend, this is a relationship built business, just like yours. I mean, you build, everybody likes Sam. I want to deal with Sam. I like Sam. It's not necessarily, I'm not getting deep. Of course it matters, the level of work, but I like Sam. I know Sam. So I build relationships with people. Once we get to that point, we're on the phone, we're talking about other things. Business takes a little bit of a back seat. They're interested, they're comfortable with me, and then I send them a link. The application goes in. We get an email, the application's done, we do a soft credit pull. So at this point, I didn't get anything from them. Documents, they're sending electronically during the application process. Again, we didn't meet face to face, and all this is expedited because it's happened electronically.
That's amazing.
All throughout, when our underwriters, processors, whatever we need, they get an automated email, they send a document back up, we have it, that requirement's been satisfied. And in the end, we do hybrid closings. This is another thing with Cross Country Mortgage. There are other companies that do it, but not many. A hybrid closing means the morning of closing, you're able to sign 75% of your documents in about 3 minutes before you even show up to closing. And our closing is now 10 to 15 minutes instead of an hour.
Yeah, I can't tell you, and I wasn't being cocky, but I went to a closing one time, and the lady took about a half hour to go upstairs because she had like a broken foot. And it was in Williamstown at one of the local realtors' offices. And she was reading everything, and I told her, there's no way I'm doing this. This is way too long. And the amount of paperwork, between her reading all her title stuff and the people that had to sign, I'm like, can I just come back? She's like, by law, you have to sit here. I said, I don't want to listen to this. Can we reschedule this thing? Like, I'm antsy. I'm like, I have so many things going on.
Busy.
I cannot believe.
The hybrid closing was built for you.
That's amazing.
That's actually amazing. I've done the fastest I've done is 7 minutes.
That's unbelievable.
We were done. Of course, we talk and we take pictures and we do all that.
Oh yeah.
But
absolutely.
I mean, the actual closing process is a joke. People only care about one thing. What's my payment? What's my interest rate? And how much money do I have to put down? Is any of that going to change? No? Okay, great.
That's
all
it.
they care about.
Yeah.
So that one document, you get a little thorough.
Definitely.
That's about it.
Yeah, and is most important part, get them to the table and get it done, right?
Exactly.
I don't know how many times, day of closing, they go, oh, you know what? We can't close today because we need this, this, and this. But we've been doing this for a month. You know what I mean? Why are you coming up with me now saying, hey, this thing's coming up? And I feel like you guys do a phenomenal job of getting that closed up.
Yeah, I consider us experts in that area.
Oh yeah.
And it helps because the realtors in the area know us because of that. I won't put my name on a pre-approval for anyone until I know that loan 100% is going to close. If it doesn't, it won't be my fault, a bad inspection or whatever it is. But
right. Sure.
We're not going to need anything the day of closing.
That's great. Oh yeah, I look for that too. So in flipping houses, you start to deal with some certain mortgage companies, and the ones that are good and the ones that aren't good. And some of the people that are offering basically offering on my houses, I let them know, hey, that mortgage company you have, I'm not good with that. So either switch it up, and I'll give you someone that I know who's good, or I'm not going to accept your offer.
Exactly. And you do enough flips and have done enough to see a lot. But imagine these are whole real estate companies. And they're doing the same thing, and they're having a much bigger piece of data to look at.
Definitely.
So it happens all the time. I get realtors calling me up, hey, or their client calls me and says they found me on Google, and the listing agent won't accept their pre-approval because it's from some online company.
Right. Oh yeah, I see it all the time. What are some common misconceptions being in the mortgage business that you kind of frequently encounter?
Down payment. That's the biggest one. So many people think that you have to put 20% down to buy a house. 20% down is great because you won't have mortgage insurance. PMI, I'm sure everyone hears about it. They act like it's the worst thing in the world. But the truth is you can put down, depending on credit, 3%. Sometimes you can put no money down. We offer state grants. We're also part of that.
That's great.
As much as $23,000 you can get. Common is 17 and 10. 17,000 you get if neither parent owns a home. You're considered first generational. Even if they're deceased, you're still that, so you get the extra 7 on top of the 10 that the state offers.
That's amazing.
So you can actually purchase a house with no money. And after you put $2,000 down or whatever your deposit was on the house,
Yeah.
if there's money left of the 17, you could actually get that back.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
it's
amazing.
unbelievable. And it's just too much. People think that you need big money to do it.
Oh yeah, you just made me. After this, I'll tell you a couple marketing ideas. I just came up with
Yeah,
based off of that. You know how my mind works.
Yeah,
It keeps on
he's
spinning.
still going. That's why he needs hybrid closing.
Can you share some of your maybe success stories? You know, even if it wasn't a big win, but something that you did with a client, got them through something, a hurdle that they weren't able to get through, and at the end of the day they were able to get a house.
Yeah, I mean, I have a family, this happens more often because of we help people. I mean, that's what we do. Like I said, you can call me, you're planning on buying 2 years from now and help you, and that actually happened. I had someone call us, their credit score was like about a 460. 460 is pretty low. I mean, we can get people done at like the low 5s if they have a co-borrower or if they put more money down.
Okay.
That's a whole other thing. The other misconception's credit, but 460, they had a family, I think it was a family of 4, and we did what I said. We did the soft pull, we ran the credit, and it came in at that. I ran the other report, how can they build credit up? And every month or 2 months I checked with her, but I sent it, and she actually was doing exactly what it said. Harry, I understand you can't do it. Not everyone could have a $10,000 credit balance and pay it down to $1,500. They just don't have the money.
Sure.
Or they would be buying a house now.
Right.
So we walked them through it, and every 2 months I try to check in at least every 2 months if I see it's a long-term thing. And after about 16 months, her credit score was a 774.
Oh my God, that's unbelievable.
And she bought a house convention.
Yeah.
That was a big one because they really appreciate it. Like,
Sure.
I don't mind helping someone, but had I called back and 2 months later, this and this, and I had a problem in the family, I call them back in 2 months. If they're not doing it at that point, help me help you. I'm giving you all the tools you need.
You're coaching them. Basically, you're coaching them.
I'm trying to do it, but if you're not following it, then at that point, we're pretty much done. But she kept doing it. Every time it was better and better and better. And I run a softball every time for them.
Really?
And then they were so happy. The kids were excited. I mean, it was an amazing thing. And I have more like that, but they're all similar type of stories.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Next question is kind of like that success story, but how do you handle those the people that have that less than perfect credit score?
It kind of goes along the same lines. I let them know that there is a bright future. We can fix this. It's just a matter, are you willing to do what it takes to fix it? And it's not, you don't always need big money to do this.
Sure.
You know what I mean? We're just telling them, pay their credit down. People don't understand, paying your credit card off in a credit building situation is not a good thing to do. Paying it down to $10 is a good thing. We always go with a $10 rule, because if you pay it off, it just looks like you're not using it. If you maintain a really low balance, it looks like, wow, they're using their card and they have such a small balance.
Sure.
So closing credit cards is a bad thing. If you have 5 credit cards and they all have a $2,000 max, you have $10,000 available to you in credit. And if you owe $4,000, you're at 40%. If you were to close one, now you only have $8,000 available to you, and you owe $4,000, you're now at 50%.
Oh wow!
So
it's
we
a numbers
explain
thing.
all that things to them. What not to do. Obviously collections and charge-offs. If they're recent, you pay off the collection. Charge-offs, you kind of leave alone. We don't care about medical, but your credit does.
Sure.
So you may want to work out medical. You can do anything. Here, we'll pay $10 a month. They'll agree to it.
Right.
And then you're fine.
So set up with some kind of plan.
A lot of it is just long-term depending. I've had people that were off by 30 points and we fixed it in 2 weeks.
That's amazing.
So we could do rapid rescores and I can pull your credit really fast. Once you show me it's paid and the vendor shows it's paid, then we do a rapid rescore and we're done there.
That's great.
So it can happen really quick.
So now we'll talk about kind of networking, building relationships. What have you done locally or just in general to try and build relationships and keep those clients that refer you clients in the know and keep coming back?
I keep in touch. Part of it was mentoring, which probably changed my life in the last year and a half. With coaching, we signed up with core training. It was expensive. You would think I need my head examined if you've seen how much we spent on this, but it keeps me in touch with my clients. I reach out to every client. I do 2 letters of the alphabet every week. So the A's and the B's are this Thursday.
Wow,
C's and
that's
D's.
awesome.
So I reach out to every client at least 4 times a year personally, me calling them. Once in a while I'll send a text instead, but they always hear from me. They get emails from me on their birthdays. I have a billboard. I do the whole mortgage Mike thing. Some of you probably have seen my videos on TikTok and Facebook. I just keep in touch with everybody. I try to stay at top of mind.
That's great.
Some events we've had client appreciation days where we invite everyone, and we've given out pies before and things like that. I mean, whatever it takes to keep in touch with the client.
Absolutely.
Because you'd be surprised how soon, sometimes I'm calling these people and great relationships with them and all that, but you kind of fall off their mind.
Sure.
And yeah, hey, how's everything? And every call ends with me asking for a referral. I always ask for a referral. Again, the coach has taught us that. And then, oh, you know what? My brother was looking for a house. When I hang up, I'm calling the brother. He's getting approved and all that. But I say to myself, wow, if I didn't make that call, there's almost no chance that I was going to get that referral.
Absolutely. And then when you ask for a referral, it's going to trigger them to think, you know what? I do have somebody. Because you just talk, it's one thing. And hey, thanks for calling me. Thanks for checking up. But if you say, hey, do you know anybody? Let me think. Yeah, I do actually.
Yeah, that's it.
And I just fire it off.
And things like this, what you're doing for me right now, I just keep it out there. I'm here to help. I mean,
absolutely.
If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'll help you get to the finish line.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then how do you collaborate with the real estate agents, the builders, and the other partners to ensure that the transaction goes smooth and that the clients are getting what they need?
So what happens is, again, it reverts back to the coaching because it's something I do. I call at least 40 real estate agents every Monday.
Wow.
And I just keep in touch. I stay on. If they have any questions, they ask me. If we have any deals going on. And then on Tuesdays is any transactions that we have going. Every realtor on both sides of the transaction and the client gets a call from me just to let them know where you are. Hey, I ordered the appraisal.
Sure.
Hey, they're expecting to be back in a few days. They said things look good. Preliminary, everything looks good. I let them know if there's anything wrong, that it'll have to be repaired and the appraisal will have to go back out. But we keep in touch every step. In addition to me calling them, which they love the personal touch, and I'm not going to lie, I use it for me too. I'm going to ask for a referral on all those calls too. It's just something I'm programmed to do. But
if you make that a habit, I agree. I think it's going to work for you.
Why not? Every call. Next time I call you, I'm probably
I better hear it. I'm not going to yell at you.
But I mean, in addition to that, Cross Country being a huge company with technology, they also, when I click the button to order the appraisal, they get an email that it's been ordered.
That's beautiful.
When we get it in, they get an email that the appraisal's back.
Oh yeah, automations are great to have.
It's perfect. I mean,
it's almost like taking away an employee role and putting it into right in your pocket.
My realtors, if I closed a deal with you last year and tomorrow's the anniversary, the realtor gets an email from me. Obviously, it's automated. I can't remember thousands of people, but the realtor gets an email that comes from me through Cross Country reminding the realtor that tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary for your closing.
That's great.
So they know to call you and say, hey, Sam, congratulations on your 1-year anniversary. And now guess what? Now you're thinking, wow, they call me on my birthday. Who's calling me on my birthday? It looks like they remembered, and they had a reminder. And we do the same, on birthdays, we do the same thing.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Everyone knows when everyone's birthday
That's
is.
super
Why
cool.
not?
We have automations too. I actually like yours a lot. I feel like yours is a relationship builder. Ours is just, hey, follow up with the client base. But I feel like that might be something
I try to take the workload away from the realtor. Look, our job with realtors is to protect their money.
That's right.
If the deal don't close, no one gets paid.
Nothing.
And the client, my deal is to get them to the closing table.
You're commission based, they're commission based.
Exactly.
They're relying on you as the professional to get the things done, and you do it.
Exactly.
So having things like that in place is just like a next level thing. I really feel like it is. Now the housing market's been kind of all over the place for the better, I feel, but also, maybe for the worse for some people.
Yeah.
Especially some of the younger people, because again, I'm 26, 27-year-old male, younger generation come up. My mortgage was supposed to be $1,500, now it's $3,000 because the house has doubled. We did have some change in office. How do you feel the next 1, 2, 3 years? How do you think that's going to affect what we have going on coming up?
I feel like in not being into politics, things have not been going well.
Right.
And we needed change. And I feel like changes are coming. I feel like things are going to stabilize a little bit. I see rates. I don't think we're going to go back up to 8.
Right.
I don't think we're going to drop down to 5 either.
Sure.
I mean, right now the consensus is they think we're going to at some point make it to 6 and stay there. When is that? I don't know. I mean,
Sure.
people ask me all the time, what do you think rates are going to do? Had I known, if I did know a solid answer, I could invest in a 10-year treasury and I wouldn't need to work at all anymore.
Exactly.
So, but we do anticipate it coming down some, but not like people think.
Sure.
And again, it comes back to, while you're waiting for that to happen, is it worth waiting? And the answer is no. We already got to that. Don't wait. Buy it now, refinance later. If the rates ever do go down to 5 and everyone's wrong, great.
Yeah, you're locked in.
rate.
You're guaranteed not to go higher, and you still have the option to go lower.
Exactly.
It's a no-brainer.
And houses
No
are not
brainer.
going down.
Yeah.
They are not.
No.
Supply and demand.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you see it.
Absolutely.
You'll get some people now. I mean, there's people that are in payments that are pretty high. People say, oh, well, look what happened in 2008. I'm going to wait for all these foreclosures. They're not coming.
No.
Everyone since then, there's so many laws that we have to follow. You know, we can't walk up to the guy in the street. Back in the day, they were gunslingers. You need a house? I got you. Well, how much? $500,000? They know that they can't afford that mortgage payment in 3 years when they have to refinance it, so they're out of their house. Today, everyone has to be vetted and totally qualified.
100%.
And given that that's their scenario and they were able to buy a house the right way, they're not going to walk away from it.
No. What are some of your goals, future goals for personal and also professional in this mortgage industry?
I mean, my goals are to keep growing. I mean, we're growing at a crazy rate. I mean, cross country is a huge part of that. Coaching is a huge part of it. But I want to build a team.
Yep.
And I want all the right people.
Oh, yeah.
Years ago we tried certain people. We were newer. We had to help people get licensed. But I want the right people, and they have to have the right mentality of wanting to help people. I don't want people who look like they're just for a cash and grab.
Sure.
There's enough of that out there. There's more deception in this industry than you could imagine.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've seen people come and go. Those guys come and go all the time. It's the guys like you that are good and mean well and want to do well by the people
thanks.
that
I
kind of grow.
appreciate it. You have to care about it.
Oh, yeah.
You have to care. I need to sleep at night. That's more important to me.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, don't get me wrong. I want to make money. My family needs to survive.
Sure.
But I won't take the money over losing sleep at night. I don't need an old retired veteran to take an extra $10,000 out of his account so I can make more money.
Absolutely.
It's just not who I am.
Perfect example of that today. I got a call from a realtor. She literally texted me, we closed today. Let me see. Again, I don't have to go there anymore. Yesterday, blah, blah, blah. We closed. Where's she at? All settled. 11:57, right before I met you.
Wow.
Never had to go to settlement. Now, backstory with that, I had an offer at $45,000 over what my asking price was for the house.
Okay.
The issue was the guy who wanted to move in, nice guy, hard worker, whatever. He really wanted to press the neighbor to move their fence all the way back, and I didn't think he needed to do that. I mean, the people. And again, I was like, you know what? I'll go talk to him. We were going to get a lawyer and do all these letters. I went there to talk to the people. And they were super nice. He was in the military, and I got them to agree to do the front. And then I went back to him, and he's like, "I want the whole thing or nothing." I said, "It's nothing. I'm not going to go back. Would we have won? Yes. Would I have made $45,000? Yes. But do I care about that money long term? No. I figured these people are super nice, so I put it back on the market, under a contract within 1 day, and closing in literally 20 days. So.
And you could live with yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's tough.
So,
I don't like to.
At the end of the day, money isn't the only. It's a lot. I like to make money, but listen, when you do good stuff, always things will come back.
Karma.
So I don't know what's coming back to me. I haven't seen it yet. It's only been an hour. But I do hope something. No, I'm kidding. But I think it's awesome that way. So now, listen, in building your team building is a huge thing. I tried everything. Tried to buy the top guy and bring him in, and he just doesn't fit the culture. Or maybe he does. I took that bottom level guy, and maybe he works out, maybe he doesn't. What do you think is in your business is a great person to bring in? Like, what would you look for ideally?
I look for the middle of the road guy, to be honest. I look for the guy that maybe is showing that he's personable because he's closing a couple deals a month, 2-3 deals a month, but he doesn't have the mentor that he should have.
Oh, yeah.
And then I want to take him to the next level. I mean, that's kind of what I do.
Love it.
We have systems. I can see what everyone does. I can see what every mortgage lender writes per month. I can see what every realtor does.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking for someone, and a lot of people aren't happy right now, because they're not making any money. The market is what it is. You have to have an edge.
Oh, yeah.
Cross country gives us the edge we need because of all the products we
That's
have.
great.
And I try to, I talk to them. I have to like them. It's just like you know right away, the guy sitting on the end of the table, he might not have a prayer after 3 minutes just because you don't like the way he talks.
That's right.
You don't like what he says. He's not a family man. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
There's just some things, but I make sure I like the person, and I
Awesome.
just tell them that I can take you to the next level.
Definitely.
And the
Definitely.
coaching, we probably spent $100,000 on coaching,
That's awesome.
and we give that to them for free.
Yeah.
When they come in, we actually not only we give it to them, I require it. I have a piece of paper. What I told you, I call the realtors on Monday. I got to write all the names down. I got to say I did it. Tuesdays, all my all the deals that I have going on, I have to put it in there and I did it. Wednesdays, everyone that's pre-qualified. I'm carrying on so
Yeah.
people know that this isn't a gimmick. All past clients are Thursdays.
That's beautiful.
Builders and VIPs are Friday.
Yep.
And then the weekends. The main thing is you have to be in it to win it.
That's
just like
it.
anything
Oh,
else.
yeah.
You got to put the time in.
Yes.
You are going to spend some time away from your family, even though family's number one.
Right.
It's the most important thing, but your family has to be part of it.
Absolutely.
If you get a guy here and you're interviewing, his phone keeps ringing, his wife, what time are you getting home? I know that's not the guy for me.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's
100%. So, that's actually great advice. I really appreciate you doing that. And also, it's accountability. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have a schedule. You're going to do that schedule, and you're going to make sure you check that box going, I did what I was supposed to do today.
or I'm not doing it.
That's
I'll be
it.
honest. If I'm home, I work from home.
Yep.
And, who the wife, how it goes.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
you do this real quick?
Yeah.
I'm like, I know it seems like it's real quick, but it's really not real
Oh,
quick.
yeah.
So that's my accountability.
Definitely.
And we have it going around the office that everyone has to show the sheets every week, and we make sure it's filled out.
Oh, yeah. So if I want to be a mortgage officer and work with you, or even for myself, what best piece of advice you think you can give someone young?
Don't do it. Now, I'm only kidding. No, I mean, honestly, it's a very tough market. I mean, it's a fact that 1 in 10 make it. Today's market's a little tougher, but I think if someone's willing to put in the time and do these things I'm saying and hold themselves accountable and maybe have someone else hold them accountable too, I mean, you need that. It's an unbelievable industry. Let's be serious here. Everyone knows that has some kind of financial freedom or somewhat wealthy has something to do with real estate. Whether it be they have tons of rentals. I mean, I buy rentals, anything I can. I'll break myself and leave myself penniless to buy a rental.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I'm the same
I'll
way.
make up
I'm
for
the
it.
same way. Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't care. I mean,
Yep. Oh, yeah, you
I've
got the
done it.
drive.
I bought a house
You
in
got the
Florida.
drive.
I spent every penny I had. I'm like, I'm recovering.
That's it.
But I mean, you just have to take the chance.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
an unbelievable industry to be in.
Definitely.
And you may get in the mortgage industry and end up being a realtor at some point. Or you may get in the mortgage industry and start seeing some of these products we have and say, wait a minute. Look at all this stuff, all this knowledge I have. Why don't I use it on myself? And you use one of these DSCR loans like I'm doing right now.
Definitely.
It's the first one I'm doing for myself.
Oh, yeah. If I were to do it over again, and I did well, I would definitely want to learn the mortgage part of it, because if I know these different DSCR loan and all the different options, my God, it would make my job that much easier.
You would have been
Absolutely.
5 years more advanced. If you had that available
Absolutely.
to you back then,
Yeah.
you would be where you are now 5 years ago.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's a truth.
Definitely. And then outside of work, what kind of personal hobbies you have, or what do you like doing, even on a daily?
I like going to the gym. Probably not for the right reasons, because I also like to eat a lot. I'm pretty,
We were talking about that earlier.
messy eater.
Yeah.
I was talking to Jen about it. She sees it, but but I go to the gym 5 days a week. I try to get 4 or 5 days a week, and recently I play a lot of pickleball. I mean,
So tell me about that. That came out of nowhere. It's super popular now.
You know what? We go to the shore every week. My wife, we
Yep.
talked about a house in Cape May, a house in Wildwood, and about 7 years ago, we bought a place in a campground. And I'm like, you know what? The kids are young. There's like 3 pools. There's a beach. It's safe.
They have a lot going on.
Let's do that. But then for the adult side, it ended up being more because my kids don't want to see it anymore. They're 19 and 16-year-old girls. They don't even want to go. But now we love it. We meet all these people. So, I'm going to go hang with you tonight. I'm going to go hang with them. I could drive my golf cart.
Sure.
I have a few drinks here and there. Everything's fine. It's safe. You're not leaving. You're not driving anywhere.
Yep.
But then they put in a pickleball court this season.
Nice.
And other people are like, you got to try pickleball. I went and tried it, and here we are 6 minutes later. I have a court at home.
Do you really? That's awesome.
We just finished it. We
That's
played
so awesome.
Sunday was the first time we played this past Sunday.
That's a great idea.
It is, and
start doing networking.
And
with
again,
that.
that's exactly it. So I have realtors that I don't work with. I friend everybody on Facebook. I have realtors friend me. Do I know them? From Facebook.
Right.
But now they're reaching out saying, hey, I see you got the pickleball court.
Yeah.
When are we going to play?
That's super
So
cool.
I am going to have events with
Oh, yeah.
realtors, and
Smart.
I'm going to build relationships with realtors or whoever I can.
Definitely.
And doing something I love to do. I mean, that's not like,
yeah.
let's not go to this thing that I really don't want to go to just to meet that person, and I'm like taking this time out at night. Now I'm going to do something I enjoy to do, and people are going to be dying to meet to do it.
Absolutely. That's super cool. So what's one of those things that people may not know about you just because they know your professional side, or that you really care about or passionate about?
Cars is a big thing. I'm on my 66th car right now.
66. Holy cow.
I do.
I thought I was bad. You got me beat.
I've had pretty much every car you could think of at any point, usually 2 or 3 at a time.
Yep.
My wife also has one. I just love cars from when I was younger. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
my first car, and then as much as I love them, I get tired of them, and
Sure.
I want something different.
Yep.
What's the next new thing? Electric
Exactly.
cars. All right, I'll try it. I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
I have solar on my house. I don't pay anything now.
Yep.
They're fast, extremely fast. I mean, I love
definitely.
everything, but I'm really, really into cars.
Oh, yeah. I think just our age group that, growing up as a kid, boy, you had that big, Corvette or Lamborghini or whatever it was. It was always
You
the
had
law.
them all.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
it. But
Oh, yeah.
then you get in the industry and you
Yep.
start meeting the right people and you put that into work, and then you can
Definitely.
live that reality.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
a prime example of it.
Yeah. Oh, for
all
sure.
the cars I'm mentioning you've had.
Yep.
He had a Vet first, then
Yep,
I
I
got
sure
the
did.
Vet. He's
Yep.
got a Lambo, not me.
Yeah. You'll have one. You'll have one.
I got that
too.
electric Audi.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just, I love it.
They're
There's
awesome.
something
They really-
about,
Yep.
and I'm sure you've had like the Vet, unbelievable.
It really is.
But
It's a
eventually,
good car.
the next big thing comes along,
Right.
And you're like, okay. They're like, how did you get rid of that? I don't know. Did you see this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like we're like little kids in
Absolutely.
that aspect. You get in a new car, it's brand new, it smells, you drive.
Definitely.
Oh, this is the best thing ever. And my wife says, I don't care what you say, you're not going to keep it. If I say how many times I said this is the one, I'm going to keep it forever.
Yep.
don't
I
say
do the
anymore.
same exact thing. It never works out ever. And my wife's even worse. We'll have a car for 6 months. I want something different. You just had it 6 months.
Yeah,
That's it.
Thank God my wife doesn't have that problem.
Oh,
like
yeah.
me. She's the opposite.
That's good.
Kind
That's
of.
good stuff.
I'm changing her. She's changing. I'm rubbing off on her.
So we'll start doing it. So if someone wants to get a hold of you, what's the best contact? What's your social media? Let everyone know, the best way to get a hold of you or multiple ways to get a hold of you.
I mean, one way is you can go to newhomeapproval.com, which is my personal website, but when you apply through there, it takes you to cross country. On Facebook, I go by my name, Michael DeSanto. My phone number is 856-263-8111, but if you Google Michael DeSanto or Mortgage Mike, you'll get me.
That's great.
You'll see me.
That's
my
awesome.
cards out there. Everything's out there, all over the place. That's
Awesome.
what we're doing.
Oh, yeah. So is there anything else you want to tell the audience out there about you other than if you're looking to buy a house, definitely call you? Is there anything else?
That is exactly what I want to say. You took the words.
That's right.
it. I mean, even there's so many people that don't realize they could buy a house.
Yep.
I mean, the last thing I'll get into, again, back to coaching, but I actually call people. People call. If I call a realtor and say, hey, do you have any leads or anything like that? It's
Right.
bland. Or even a person. If I call you, Sam, do you know anybody buying a house?
Definitely.
Of course you're going to say no, Mike, because I would have called you already.
Right.
But I'm going to say, do you know anyone renting or living at home?
That's right.
You know what I mean? Because everyone knows renters and
Definitely.
people that live at home. Have them reach out to me because they may not realize they could buy a house. There's so many people that I've gotten into homes that had no idea that they'd qualify to buy a home.
Love it.
And they pay more in rent
Yep.
than they were going to pay to own a house. Even now, I mean, look, you have rentals. I have
Sure.
rentals. I know how high the rents I'm charging are, and I love it. Renters don't like it, and they
No.
can be buying a house for the same price or less. So
Love it. Love it. Love
that's
it.
the big thing.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you today, brother.
All right, Sam,
Yeah,
thanks
we'll do
for
another
having
one
me.
and have a good day.
Definitely.
I'll see you.